Good morning, good morning. How's everyone? I tell you, one of these days I'll get pretty good at this YouTube thing. This is like the second or third time I started making a video and the video stopped on me because I don't have the auto lock after 1 minute. So I'll get a video started for a minute and just talk and talk and talk, and not realize it's not even recording. Um, what I was talking about that you guys didn't get to hear, about 10 minutes worth. I was talking about Kwame Brown and Boyce Watkins on my way to work again. I also said some things about Third Eye Geechee, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But let me take it step by step here. The thing that's going on with Kwame Brown and Boyce Watkins, I call it a rare beef, because it's bloody, or it's getting bloody. It's turning into something different. I mean, I didn't know I didn't think it was going to go this far, but Boyce Watkins is still making videos, and Kwame Brown is still like, look, man, what part of leave me alone don't you understand? It's like, I don't know. I think maybe at this point Boyce is doing it on purpose, just to try to mess with him. But at the same time, he's taking a hit, because I go to his videos now. I go to his page, and he has the comments turned off. You can't like his videos. I mean, he's pretty safe, pretty protected as far as feeling any kind of heat from the public. And I don't know how I feel about that. But it's a rare beef. It's not literally, thank God. It's not getting bloody literally. I won't ever get to that, but it's getting kind of ugly, man. Kwame was pretty hot yesterday. I seen that video with him in the truck. He was pretty hot, man. I could tell he was still cracking jokes like always, but he was upset, you know. And I don't know, but at the same time, like I said, when you turn off the comments, you turn off the likes and dislikes, you don't want the public to see what's really going on. And you don't want, I mean, you're kind of in denial too, because it's obvious why you turned the comments off, because the majority of comments you're getting are not positive, not good. So yeah, I spoke about that, and I'll get back to that. But I also spoke about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kwame mentioned having him on the show, having him on his platform, and I thought, man, that would be great, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was he was a beast. And I'm saying the same things over and over, but you guys hadn't heard it already. So I was saying that I remember, I'm old enough to remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he played for the Lakers. His last maybe 3 or 4 years, I remember the games. I remember the Lakers winning the championship. Kareem, he was out some of that series, I think. But Magic is a bad man. Magic is probably, Michael Jordan said Magic was the best point guard he'd ever played against. So, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you could get him on the platform, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I was saying that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and this is how it relates to the Third Eye Geechee thing. He said one of the best basketball players he's ever played with was a guy named Earl Manigault. And Earl Manigault was the Third Eye Geechee from Charleston, South Carolina. And if you ever see a movie, a great movie to watch is a movie called Rebound. Don Cheadle plays Earl Manigault. One of the best basketball movies I've ever seen in my life. Long story short, he gets addicted to drugs, substance abuse, and his basketball career goes down the drain. But they show Kareem in the movie. They had a guy playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they actually show them playing together. And but that's one thing that Kareem said about Earl Manigault. Like I said, a Third Eye Geechee from Charleston. Another Third Eye Geechee is a guy named Bumpy Johnson. They made a movie about him. What's his name? The guy, I can't remember his name now, but he's playing him. He's playing the character. And Bumpy Johnson was the guy, the gangster that really got Frank Lucas started. If you ever seen American Gangster, played by Denzel Washington. Bumpy Johnson was from Charleston, South Carolina. So there's former First Lady Michelle Obama. Her grandfather was from Georgetown, South Carolina. Chris Rock was born in Georgetown. Dave Chappelle, his family's from, I think, Columbia. But yeah, those are other Third Eye Geechees. You know, Viola Davis, I think I mentioned her already. Viola Davis, the great Viola Davis. She's from South Carolina. It's a lot of, and I also mentioned that 60% of African Americans, 60% or more, I think it's more than 60% of African Americans have ties to Charleston, South Carolina, because that was one of the main entryways into the country from Africa as slaves, was through Charleston. So a lot of people out there can relate to a Third Eye Geechee, because a lot of your ancestors, a lot of your grandparents, great grandparents, parents even, are from South Carolina. So yeah, and I think I don't know if I said this already, but I'm receiving a lot of love from YouTube, from viewers. I had no idea my videos would, you know, people would watch my videos. I had no idea. I guess it's because I'm putting Kwame Brown in the title. But, you know, and I'll continue to do that as long as I can. But I'm trying to get more subscribers. I'm trying to get more likes. You know, because I'm trying to boost up my platform a little bit, ultimately to get people to take a look at my books. I'm a writer. And a shout out to Miss Kathy again. Miss Dr. Kathy, I can't remember her last name, but she messaged me again about my book, Saving Miss Caroline. Shout out to you. And whenever, if you want to link up, just let me know, and we'll link up. But just on my way to work, wanted to make a little clip about the Boyce Watkins Kwame Brown beef, the rare beef. It's getting rare. I mean, it's not gonna. I don't think this thing is ever gonna be done. And I'm doing a little more research on Boyce Watkins, Dr. Boyce Watkins. I gotta say doctor. I gotta give the man his respect. But I'm doing a little more research because I stopped. I was watching his videos for a good while, and then like I said, we had that issue with the script that I wrote for him, and I stopped, and you know, like, you know, naturally that's gonna put a bad taste in my mouth, because, you know, I thought I was potentially gonna be working with the guy, and you know, he kind of shunned me, which is cool. You have the right to do that. But then I started taking a look at his videos and what he was saying, and I'm like, this guy is saying the same stuff over and over and over. He's like just repeating himself over and over, and he takes forever to get to a point. That's the thing that got me more than anything else. I'm like, man, look, the subject says blah, 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 and then it's 10 minutes into the video. I hadn't heard anything about what you said you were going to be talking about. So that was one thing that really turned me off. And I stopped watching. I unsubscribed, and I really wanted, because you know, once you subscribe to a channel, you get the videos all the time, and it's like nonstop. They're always in your feed. So I unsubscribed, and I was still getting the videos. I'm like, man, come on. I don't want to hear this guy anymore. I don't want to hear him anymore. And it was personal, because I took it personal. Yes, I did. I take it personal. I've been writing for 20 years, and I hadn't really gotten a break yet. So I was really hoping that was going to be my first break. But it seems like in order to break into the industry, you have to be in some kind of get along gang, or you have to be in some, or you have to I'll just say you have to be white. And you have to be white and in a get along game, because, and another thing is black people don't read a lot. Not, at least not the black people I encounter. African Americans, I'm saying. We don't read enough. And I don't think we read it, and that's really something that I really don't understand, because reading a while ago, 200 years ago, when we were slaves, reading was against the law, and it's for a reason. It's for a reason. There's power in the written word, and the slave masters knew that. The slave masters knew if their slaves could read, then that would be a tremendous threat to the institution of slavery. So that's why it was against all. That's why you could die if you could read. So now that the law, there's no law against reading, and I don't know. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I'll just say that I'm a writer. I won't stop writing. P. Diddy there. Can't stop, won't stop writing. And eventually, the right people will pick up the books and read the books. But as a reminder, if you are a reader, if you are a person that reads a lot and likes to read good books about African Americans, about real things going on, I do have some fantasy. I wrote the book Mech, and that's a sci-fi fantasy type book. And but I also have Save Miss Caroline, which I've heard a lot of good things about. What that book means to a lot of people. It's about a little girl who's facing child molestation, basically, and her mom is on drugs, and the only friend that she really has can't help her because he's not there at the moment. But and things do happen throughout the story, real things, but it turns out pretty good for her in the very end of that story. And Jaja is a story about a curse on the black race. And which, if you really think about a curse in the context of curses, I truly do believe that there's a curse on the black race. And I don't mean a curse where somebody waited for a full moon and waited, and got some whatever they use, some concoction, did some kind of ritual. No, I'm not saying that. That may be partially true, but I mean, if you look at our predicament, I always make this analogy. I always say this as a point. Right now, today, if you had a family, right? If you take a family, a mom, dad, daughter, son, dog, whatever, family of people, no matter what color, and you take that family, and all of a sudden, let's say we're watching a movie one night, all of a sudden, somebody break in your house, put you in shackles and chains, and really don't say anything to you. All you know is that mom is going here, dad is going there, sister's going there, brother's over there, and hell, we don't need a dog, shoot the dog in the head. And for the rest of your life, for all of your life, you have been separated from your family abruptly, working for someone, laboriously, day and night until sun up to sundown, threatened with death, whippings, beatings, rapings, all these things. And now, not only did you have to experience that stuff, but now you're forced, in a lot of cases, to breed with another human being like an animal, to reproduce, to have more chattel, slaves. Now your family is born into slavery. Your kids, your grandkids, hell, if you're unlucky enough, you'll see your great-grandkids in slavery. And this goes on for hundreds of years. Not a week or so, not a month, not 2 months, not years, not decades. But this goes on for generations and generations and generations. That is the curse I'm talking about. Because there's so many other things that are involved in slavery. Or so many other things that came out, that spawned up, that formed what I call a curse. You know, because after slavery now, you have never been free. You don't know what freedom is. You literally don't know what freedom is. After slavery, they say that a lot of the slaves they stayed on the plantation because they didn't know what to do. How would you know what to do? Now listen, the majority of people today think in group mentality. You know, you have individuals like Kwame Brown thinking outside the bubble. You have individuals like Colin Kaepernick that thought outside the bubble. Anybody who thinks outside the bubble, that's an anomaly. That's something different. That's different. Most people think in group, in a group thinking process. You know. So now after slavery, who do you think the majority of people were? Were they thinking in the group, or were they thinking outside the box? So I think the majority of people were just still thinking in the group, thinking, you know, we don't know what to do. We have no idea. We have no plan. That's still here today. And then whenever you did have a large group of people that came outside the group and or started developing inside the group, an example is Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We thrive. We actually thrive when we actually come together and start thinking in such a way that that is progressive. Somebody, some white person or white people come along and destroy it. That's what happens. It happens every time. There's more examples than Black Wall Street, way more. So, you know, that's the curse. That's what Jaja is about. And Jaja, Jaja, that is a name. It's a Nigerian name. It means God's gift. And it's also it's kind of a fantasy story. But it's talking about breaking that curse. And it's an uplifting story. All my stories, they start off really bad, but they somehow turn out to be to have a good ending. What time is this? Almost 20 minutes. I'm on my way to Charleston to a hospital. I'm about to end it. But again, shout out to Kwame Brown. Love what you're doing, brother. And I don't know. I don't want to come off as though I'm trying to give you some advice. Excuse me. But Kwame, don't let that dude, man, Boyce Watkins, irritate you to the point to where you don't want to do videos again. I know you're not gonna stop, but you seemed really mad up yesterday, man. I was mad for you because I went and saw his video. I saw part of it. where he was still trying to make some kind of point, still trying to diagnose you and trying to break down your words and all these things, and he wants to debate. Why do you want to debate with this man when he says he doesn't even want to speak to you? I mean, I don't know. Why would you want to do that? Shout out to all the people, all the new subscribers. I had started off with 16 subscribers. I now have 33 in a day, so that may not seem like a big number, but that's like amazing to me. I'm like, wow, I asked people to subscribe and they actually did it. Wow, that's pretty cool. Shout out to all of the people that's giving me good reviews and some insights, and then shout out to all the people who are hating too. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, I think I have between two videos, I might have 1,500 views. I have some people, a little bit of hate going. Shout out to you too, man. Shout out to you. You don't have haters, and you're living in a fantasy world, I think. But nothing but love. Send out nothing but love to you guys. I think I hit on everything I wanted to say. I think I did. If you haven't been to Charleston, South Carolina yet, and you're African American, stop by and see the little city. It's a beautiful city. You go down to the Battery, and all of the homes you see down there, the homes are like anywhere from 200 years old to 150 years old. I think some of them down there even built in the 1700s. You have some really old homes down there, and I ask you to come and see, because that's the craftsmanship of some of the slaves back 200 years ago. Some people get offended by that. I don't want to see any slave houses, slave stuff. I don't want to see any plantations. You got to go see the plantations too. That's our legacy. Even though we were slaves when we built those homes and built those plantations, that's our fingerprint. That's your ancestors. A lot of you ancestors built those homes, built the plantations. And I did feel a certain way when I went to my first plantation, Middleton plantation. I did feel a certain way because there's an energy still in the air down there in Charleston, and some of the plantations here in Charleston. There's an energy. You can definitely feel it. Like I went to the Apex Museum in Atlanta a couple years back, and I went to that one little room where it's the door of no return. Oh, Forrest Whitaker. He plays Bumpy Johnson in that. I don't know what series it is. I think it's HBO. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but it's Forrest Whitaker. He plays Bumpy Johnson, Nakichi. But Apex Museum in Atlanta, there's a door of no return, a replica of the door of no return that they made. And I went inside there, stepped inside there, and they have the speakers in there making all these sounds, and you can hear the chains rattling, you can hear people screaming and yelling, not wanting to go through that door because they know they're not going to return, they're not going to come back. There's an energy I can't even explain that's inside that little room. If you ever been to Atlanta, to the Apex Museum, I think it's called the Apex. Man, I might be messing the name all up. It's a little it's an African American museum there in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. I'm pretty sure it's called the Apex. If you ever go in that little room, there's an energy in there that it's eerie. It's really spooky. So when I came out of the room, the lady that was sitting next to the door, she was looking at me. And she said, "Did you feel it?" And I looked at her like, "What is this?" I said, yeah, I felt kind of strange. And she said, yeah, most people do when they go in that little room. Most black people, when they go in that room, they feel the presence of the slaves. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. That's crazy. But yeah, shout out to Apex. I hope I'm getting the name right. I'll look it up afterwards. If I'm not, just comment down on the bottom. But yeah, that's all I gotta say today. I'm almost downtown Charleston. I wish you guys, maybe I can flip this thing around, let you know I can't. I was gonna show you. Yeah, I can show you. On the interstate, I-26, the famous I-26. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'll post this video later on. It's still 8:30 in the morning right now. I'll post it later on, maybe 2 o'clock today. Y'all have a good one. Have a blessed one.